Bruno to the Saudi Pro League? Could it happen?
I think it could happen, but I would not put money on it happening anytime soon. The situation regarding the Saudis is this. The Saudi Pro League are planning on making some big moves in the summer transfer window. They're considering making approaches for players like Bruno Fernandes, Jack Grealish at Manchester City, also Victor Osimhen. These are the kind of names they're looking at. But if you're telling me, is Bruno Fernandes going to leave Old Trafford this summer, I would say to you that is not going to happen.
Hold on. How much are they offering Bruno Fernandes to go to Saudi?
Well, nothing is concrete. I haven't been told any numbers. If they were to offer him a contract, of course it would be a massive contract, but the people I speak to in Saudi Arabia are telling me, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We've not got to the position yet where any offers have been made, any approaches have been made. Also, from the player's perspective, Bruno Fernandes is the captain of Manchester United. He's happy at United. He's settled at United. He signed a new contract last summer. I don't think he wants to move to the Saudi Pro League anytime soon. So the simple answer to your question is, it's not going to happen, but I do believe there will be some big money deals for the Saudi Pro League this summer. Not as big as 2 years ago. 2 years ago, you remember, they shocked the football world. £700 million they spent on players like Neymar, Karim Benzema. Last summer, it was a bit quieter. It dropped by about 50%.
I thought that was a change of approach. Are they going back to the original approach?
Well, no. Well, it was a change of approach because SPL clubs, they're only allowed to have a maximum of 8 foreign players over 21. So they can't just keep signing foreign players. They have to be a little bit careful. So it dropped by about 50% last summer. This summer, I'm being told it is going to rise again. But the kind of deals they're looking at, do you remember in January, Al Nassr signed John Duran from Aston Villa, £64 million. Yeah. He's 21 years old. They want to do more sensible deals like that. But definitely, Bruno Fernandes, Jack Grealish, Victor Osimhen are all names that have been mentioned to us.
Saudis offer Fernandes £1 million a week to leave United. Al-Hilal, the club in question. Any legs in this story, David, do you think?
Well, there's been a long-term interest, Teddy, from the Saudi Pro League in Bruno Fernandes. I think there were proposals last summer before he signed a new contract at United that keeps him there until, I think, 2027, possibly with an option to extend by 12 months. Al-Hilal were, if I remember correctly, in the market for Mo Salah. He obviously decided to sign a new deal at Liverpool, and so perhaps their attention has turned back to Bruno Fernandes, who's been incredible for Manchester United throughout his time at the club, and especially in difficult circumstances this season. His goals and assists are right up there with the best players, and they'd be lost without him, which is why, in their mind, he's not going anywhere. They won't want to entertain offers, let alone his departure. If they're going to be shifting players, and they will be this summer, quite spectacularly, I imagine, they won't want Fernandes to be one of them. They'll want to build around him. Even though he turns 31 this year, his productivity is still there. And the soundings we're getting from these reports are that Bruno Fernandes is not interested in the move as things stand. Now, we don't know if that will change with the sort of numbers that might be proposed, and they will become eye-watering, I'm sure, if they really want to go for Bruno Fernandes. But if he wants to stay and continue his career in Europe, and Manchester United genuinely have no intent in cashing in on him regardless of their financial situation, then I imagine it's a story that will end in him remaining at Old Trafford over the summer and into next season.
As David says there, Riyadh, especially when you consider he's been playing deep-lying midfield for some of this season in one of the worst Manchester United teams we can remember. 19 goals and 18 assists. Is he irreplaceable? And do you expect him maybe to have a little bit of leverage to want some assurances from Ruben Amorim about what the actual plan is?
I think he'd be entitled to seek those assurances, even if Al-Hilal weren't putting crazy money on the table. Look, if I was to risk being a little bit facetious about it, he might fancy joining an upwardly mobile club. But look, we know what the Saudi League is. We know where they stand compared to Manchester United. So I'd be utterly amazed if he even considered it at this stage in his career when he's 30. But he'd have every right to ask United what their plans are, when is there going to be some coherence in this strategy they've got, when are they going to start bringing in players that are suitable for the Premier League, suitable for Manchester United, and equipped to get them moving forward again. I'd be amazed if he hadn't been having those conversations for the last couple of seasons, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, he has been their standout by a distance. I think we can all have a debate about his captaincy merits in terms of his temperament on the pitch, the way he sometimes behaves, but as a player, he's fantastic. And I think, we've already touched on the stats there, but 19 goals, 18 assists in that team. I think you could make an argument in that context for player of the season.
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it, if that came about? We'll see what happens with Bruno.
A lot of speculation over the last 24, 48 hours about Bruno Fernandes and his future. Alejandro has mentioned there's a lot of rumours around. What is your view of Bruno Fernandes and his importance to this team and this squad, not just for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but going forward?
I think it's easy to understand that, not just because of the numbers, but the way he plays, the importance that he has during his 5 years, I think, here. He's a top player. We need the top players. He's a leader. He's the captain. So he's really important. It's normal that there's a lot of clubs that want a player like Bruno, like Garnacho, like others. But we want to keep the best players. And Bruno is clearly one of the top players in the world. So our idea didn't change. We want Bruno here.
In a stunning development from the transfer market, Saudi Pro League giants Al-Hilal are preparing to launch an official bid for Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes. Sources close to the deal have revealed that Al-Hilal are determined to make Fernandes their marquee signing this summer, with an offer that could exceed £100 million in total value, including lucrative wages and bonuses. The Portuguese midfielder, who has been a key figure for United since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in 2020, is reportedly on the radar of Al-Hilal as they continue their push to attract global superstars to the Saudi League. Fernandes, 30, still has several years left on his contract at Old Trafford, but Manchester United may be tempted to cash in as they look to rebuild under manager Ruben Amorim. Reports suggest that Fernandes remains committed to United but could be swayed by a record-breaking salary package. Fans are split over the potential transfer, with some believing it's time for a squad refresh, while others fear losing their talismanic leader. Will Manchester United resist the Saudi millions, or could Bruno Fernandes be the next big name to make the move? Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story.